Hi friends! Welcome to another Pick a Card reading. My name is Juno and I will give you messages today. Today's readings are all what blessings are coming into your life. What good new thing from the universe is just about to pop into wherever you are right now in life. So I'm pretty excited. I've got 3 different piles for you to choose from. Pile number 1, pile number 2, or pile number 3. Down below in the comment section you'll be able to click on the link to the pile that corresponds to you and your reading. In a moment, I'm going to play for you a quick nature meditation to help you calm and get into a better headspace. And then as soon as that 30 seconds is over, I will play the card selection, and you just click on the link to the pile that really jumps out at you, that really resonates with you. So without further ado, here is your nature meditation, and then we will have readings for what good things are coming into your life now. Hi there, pile number 1. Here's your reading for what good things are coming into your life right now. So, for the rune stones, you have Hagalaz, which is a rune of disruption. It is all about this, like, it can be like freedom and liberation, kind of similar to the Devil card in the more modern interpretations of the Devil card, of being this card of releasing the shackles on you. So it can be like coming out of a really difficult closed off period and kind of this like aha into something much beautiful, much more freeing and liberating. So you have that. And then you also have Inyus, which is fertility rune. And this one is all about this idea of, to me, in the how it's mostly depicted as this like kind of DNA strand looking kind of a thing. So it's like kind of a new beginning, but in this like fertile way, right? Like you are taking the elements of the old and rearranging and coming up with something brand new and beautiful. Kind of like the Temperance card too, in a certain sense. Alright, for your Shamanic Healing Oracle, we have the Perception card, which is all about looking at how you are seeing things. And we have the Grounding card, which is all about coming into a better balance and grounding of yourself so that you're not stuck in your head, you're more present into the world, into the moment that we're in right now. So I'll read from the book for the both of these cards in a moment, but first let's get to these other cards here. For the traditional Raider Waite Tarot deck, we have the Ace of Swords, the Queen of Cups, the King of Wands, the Four of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. Ooh, new beginnings all around here. That is great. Now for the hand-drawn deck, this one I drew myself. We've got the Nine of Wands. Oops. We've got the Six of Wands. We've got the Four of Pentacles. Eight of Swords. Oh yeah, you got an extra one. Eight of Cups, which is cool. And we've got the Page of Swords. Another kind of new beginnings card here. So let us dive right into this reading here. Yeah, so this is a good new things coming into your life. What good things are happening? And I think for you, the good things is you are closing out a chapter that wasn't very pleasant for you, maybe it was really challenging and difficult, but you're entering into a brand new period. It's like this homecoming period for you. Because we have the Four of Wands here, which to me is the homecoming card. It's all about like, see, they're celebrating this person coming back. So a part of you is sort of like coming back to yourself after moments of being disconnected, coming home to, you know, feeling comfortable in yourself, in your environment. Maybe it is going home, you know, in a certain sense too. Maybe you actually are going back to some place. But I think for the most part, this is a kind of a new period where you're kind of like bringing back on some things that were missing. You also have the Four of Pentacles here, which talks about safety. It's like, and safety in the physical sense, kind of like protecting yourself and being safe that way. In the Rider Waite deck, it's depicted as a man who's kind of like hunched in and kind of protecting himself. So this can indicate like, since it's fours, you know, fours are all about stability. You know, you've got two fours here, the Four of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. So I think that you're entering into a more stable period of your life, both financially and, you know, well-being wise. And you're going to be inspired again, because you've got the King of Wands here. The King of Wands is sort of like, the Wands energy is all of this like manifestation. It's making something happen, having the passion and the drive to really go out there and conquer the world, you know, quote unquote. Like really go out there and get yourself, get your life. And because it's the King, the Kings are all about the culmination. They are the final card in this suit. And so they are this sort of like finally being in total in your power, right? He's totally in his power. He's regal, calm, and makes things happen. But he's not coming from a place of like making something happen at all costs, really manipulating anything. He works through the power of manifestation, which is all about receiving. He puts out his intention into the universe, and then he sees and jumps at the opportunities as they come and is able to create a life for himself that way. So you really have that opportunity coming to you of jumping after and chasing your dreams. You've got the Eight of Swords here, which talks about being in bondage, being bound up. But the thing about this card is that in the Rider Waite deck, she's kind of depicted, the woman who's bound, she's very loosely bound and blindfolded. And so the assumption there is that she is totally in her power and in her control to really release these bounds that are holding her back and move into something beautiful. So I think the blessing, the beautiful new thing that's coming into your life is you're going to really release these bounds that have been over you for so long, because you realize that you have had the power and the tools in your disposal this entire time to release yourself from this. So these loops, these thought loops, the swords are all about the mental body, the mental sphere. So they're kind of like whatever is looping on in our minds going over and over again. With the Eight of Swords, it's kind of like whatever thought patterns you've been so stuck in, you're going to see from a new perspective. You're going to open your mind into something newer that really allows you to free yourself from whatever these loops and patterns are and move into a new period. You know, you've got the Victory card here. This is the card in the traditional Raider Waite deck, the Six of Wands, where he's riding in on a horse victorious. He's celebrating. He's joyous that, you know, he's won the battle and the fight is over now, right? He's celebratory. So whatever this, you know, this hardship, this hard problems that you've been in, you're now out of it, you know? You've come out of it, and now you're in this like much more open period to be able to move into the life that you need for you. And like I was saying, we've got these new beginnings here, and it's a new beginning in two different areas. You've got the Ace of Swords here, which is talking about new beginnings in the mental body, in the mental sphere, really kind of breaking into a new way of thinking and perceiving of the world. And then you have the Ace of Cups, which is all about the emotions, your heart, the way that you feel, love. So you're opening up into your emotional body as well, moving into a new area. And possibly, especially with this grounding card, which I'll read in a second, and the perception card, this to me is really also talking about this uniting of the emotional and the mental bodies. That's kind of what, if you listen to a lot of people talking right now, and sort of like if you subscribe to this idea, which I personally do, that we're moving into a new time for humanity. We're moving into this new period of living and being in the world and in reality. We're kind of like leveling up into a new sphere. A part of this leveling up process, and a part of our growth as human beings and as sentient spiritual beings, is moving into this period where we are able to unite together our mental sphere, our mental body, and our emotional sphere, our emotional body, and come into this more aligned existence, so that we're not like fighting against each other, right? There's this idea of the right brain and the left brain being so drastically different. This is the idea of uniting those two concepts together into one full, complete human being. So I think that for whatever reason, I think that you're tapping into that energy that the larger collective is going through right now, of really merging these two different spheres of our beings, healing any problems and emotions that are going on in your mental body and mental sphere, and then healing those emotions within yourself too, to come into an area and a place of being where you're really open to the peace and calm and joy and love and manifestation that can really help you through life and really make you feel comfortable and calm and present. We've got the Eight of Cups here as well. The Eight of Cups is all about moving on. In the Raider Waite Smith deck, it's depicted as the man who's, he's got these 8 cups in front of him, and he had them on. He took them on because they were incredibly helpful for him for a period of time. They existed in his life in a moment when he really needed them, and they really got him through life. He was able to survive and continue and be, by having these things, these 8 cups. But he's now come to the conclusion in the period that he no longer fits these 8 cups. They don't really work for him anymore. These patterns and these emotional patterns that he was using in order to cope and survive, they don't work for him anymore and in his life. And he's figured that out finally. And he has decided that he's going to walk away and walk towards the 9 and the 10 cups coming to him, because he knows in the back of his mind, though this situation has served him for a period and he knows about it, he's comfortable with it, he knows that it's not right anymore, and he's ready to take a risk and go out and look for his actual happiness, the things that will really bring him happiness and joy in life. And so he's going to take a chance and do that. And it's kind of this idea of, we tend to stick with the things that we know because we know them and they're certain. But a lot of times, there are the things that we know that are comfortable that aren't good for us, and they don't work for us. And so in order to find the things that are really good for us as beings, that be in a life situation that's actually going to bring us happiness instead of suffering, we have to let go of it and walk away and learn to walk on and move on to something new and better for us. And so I think that you're going to have that opportunity, and that's really the blessing that's coming in for you, is that you're walking into your own personal victory. You're walking into a new phase and period of being that's going to be much, much happier. So let me read this grounding card, because I think that grounding your energy is really going to help you change your perspective, and it's really a perspective shift that's bringing this in. This isn't coming out of nowhere. This is coming from you changing your mindset, changing your modality of thinking, and by doing that, you set off a chain reactions in your decision making moving forward that will allow you to live in the happiness and the peace that you need and want for yourself and deserve, you know? So let me read this card here. Grounding. As humans, our bodies are of the earth. It is a natural inclination when we experience uncomfortable emotions or energy to ground it out, much in the way a ground wire works with electrical current. However, with so much in our modern lives that causes us to be disconnected from Creator, we tend to gravitate towards false grounding. Overeating, smoking, drinking, and recreational drugs are common ways some try to ground. These items are of the earth, but not the earth. This is not a true grounding, and as such, it cannot sustain. It doesn't last. What ends up happening is that, as with most experiences that are false, we need more and more to achieve the same result. To truly ground and connect to both the earth and Creator, practice consciously connecting your energy to the earth. You should not be getting your energy outside of yourself, but directly from the divine. This is achieved through meditation, energy work, mindfulness. Find a way that works for you and practice it. By drawing this card, you are being asked to look at the areas of your life where you might be employing false grounding as a coping mechanism. So this goes back into this Hagel card as well. This idea, if it's connected to the Devil card, which I kind of feel that it is, this idea of breaking free. These breaking free from patterns and addictions even. And this talks a little bit about addiction, so I'll talk about that too. A lot of times the things that we're addicted to, we employ them, this false grounding or whatever, we employ them because we're trying to distract ourselves from something. We're trying to push something out of the way. So we follow these things because we just don't want to cope with whatever's happening. But this is kind of asking you to face that head on, you know, that in order to move on, like this Eight of Cups that I was talking about, you kind of have to look at these patterns and move on from them. And sometimes that means facing the demons, you know, this Eight of Swords energy, the things that are bounding you, that have bound you. You got to look it straight in the face what you're trying to ignore. And a lot of times we ignore things without realizing. I know when you're caught up in these patterns of avoidance, which is something that I have a lot of experience with personally, you don't really even know what you're avoiding after a while. You don't really get it. And so, you know, by practicing mindfulness techniques, you know, meditation if you can, there's a lot of resources on meditation on YouTube. I recommend looking those up. But you really kind of get into this idea that when you start to slow down and really listen to the internal things, these things that you're trying to avoid will come up. And then instead of pushing them away, really see them and really face them and start to see yourself and the situations from a new perspective. And ask yourself, okay, how can I heal this? I see this thing, this is hurting. How can I heal this? Ask yourself that. You know, hold your hand on your heart and ask your heart. I know this sounds kind of hokey, but it's really helpful. You know, breathe deeply and say, okay, how can I heal you? You know, how can I heal this? What are some things? And those things will start to come to you. And if you need extra help, there is no shame in going to see somebody for help. You know, I've seen a counselor before a fair amount, and it's really, really helpful. And it's really, what it is it's just they will give you the techniques to look at yourself and look at your life that you may not have. And then if you don't want to do that, you can go to more readers. You can get a private reading. You can get one with me if you need one on junodrum.com. But I don't need to just make this about my business because there are many resources available to you for help. You know, this talks about clearing your energy field as well, which is incredibly helpful. I really recommend getting Reiki. I've gotten Reiki sessions done, and it's amazing. What happens is that it clears the emotional body because, you know, the different parts of your body, the different energy centers are deeply connected to different emotional states. And so by allowing these centers to be triggered and the energy to be moved from the blockages, those things that are blocking you, the emotional things, will come to your mind. They'll come to the forefront. And then you'll be able to see, like, head on, oh, this is that situation that happened X and X years ago that I'm totally avoiding and I've shut down, that have stopped me from being able to speak about something. I see that now. I can see it. And now I can deal with it and clear it out. So these grounding techniques can really help. And then another part is like really connecting to your heart, and in the heart of Mother Earth, grounding yourself into the earth can really help you bring about these energies. And eventually I'm going to do some meditation videos on here, especially in earth and grounding meditation, because I use them in my practice all the time and they're so helpful. But there's more resources available online. So right now, if you just Google like heart meditation or grounding meditations, they're out there and they're very, very helpful. So your second Shamanic Healing Oracle card is the Perception card. Let me read that for you real quick, and then I think we're almost done. Perception. With energy, sometimes a slight shift in perception is all that's needed. Remember, nature strives to retain balance. It is only our perception and labels that cause us to think otherwise. Is there a situation in your life that you are viewing from a very rigid perspective? Are you certain that you are at the center of all the drama around you? Perhaps cultivating the ability to step outside of the drama and see the issue from every different viewpoint will shift your judgment of this person or situation from intolerable to simply it is. And as it is, it won't remain so for long. Letting go of the tendency to hold on, that holds you to a certain viewpoint, also frees you the situation to go natural. Letting go of the tether that holds you to a certain viewpoint also frees the situation to go the natural way and get back into balance. So there we go. That's the other thing too, of like, looking at where your perceptions are, of like what's chaining you to a certain idea, and what is keeping you feeling the way that you're feeling. Is this drama that's happening really about you, or is it this other person who's got this other thing going, and then it's just theirs, and you can let go of it and let it be theirs, and then the other thing that this was talking about is like, by letting go of the tether that's keeping your mind stuck to the situation, you actually allow it to change and go back to what it needs to be, and in a comfortable way. Balance is the nature of the universe, and your life and yourself and the world around you, everything wants to be balanced out. So there's this idea, this ties back to the Eight of Cups too, especially my version of it. I have it as this wheel of change, right? The wheel of the sky keeps on turning. It's this idea that like change is the inevitable part of the universe. The only thing that's constant in life is that it's all going to keep changing. So by embracing that change, you kind of allow yourself to let go of these things that are bounding you and holding you back. This Eight of Swords, it's this release, letting it go, allows you to move with the world as it continues to change. All of those events and things that you're playing back in your mind, they're done, right? They don't exist anymore. They only exist now in your mind. And every moment is a new opportunity to be fully present, fully aware in the moment. I think you're being asked too, with this grounding and perception cards, to become more present in the moment around you. To really come back to where you are. That everything that's happened before is done. It's not coming back. It's finished. All things from your past are gone. And it's you who brings those things into the present. And you don't have to do that. You can let those things go. The future hasn't been written yet, and you have the ability to make that. But you can't live in the future either, because it doesn't exist. You only have this moment and the decisions and movements that are open to you from now. And then, and I think you're really going to be opening up to this new mindset, because you also have the Page of Swords, and the pages are all about starting a new journey. They're kind of like the student in an area. And so for it to be the mental sphere here, you're opening up to the idea of looking at life from a new perspective. And you're really going to start doing the work and the journey that's going to bring you there. And this thing is going to be very freeing for you. By opening this up, You know, that's the blessing that's coming into you, is that you're about to free your mind from all of these things that are really holding you back and move into something much bigger and beautiful and bright for you. So that's it. That's your reading. I hope that you liked it, that it worked, that it resonates. Let me know in the comments either way. Feel free to check out my website, junodrome.com, for a private reading. We've got 2 different options. One's slightly cheaper, one's a little bit more expensive. I'm doing still some discounts for YouTube subscribers, so please subscribe to my channel. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the pile with this really beautiful lapis stone, one of my favorites. So you can see I wear it a lot. It's this like kind of like royal stone of like being in your own power, you know. It's like the Egyptians used it a lot in a lot of jewelry and a lot of things. So it's got those connotations to it, which is cool. For your runes, we've got Fehu, which is all about wealth. It literally translates to cattle or like grain. You can see it kind of looks like a grain. And so it's kind of like talking about this harvest, being in a, you know, in this receiving of material harvest. And then we've got the Kaunaus rune, which is openings, new openings. And it's also kind of, I find it more of like this aha moment, because originally it meant torch. So it's kind of like, you know, lighting the torch, opening into a new place. So these are like what blessings are coming into you. And I think that, you know, I think that you're opening yourself up to abundance, honestly. So let's look at your cards. For the Shamanic Healing Oracle cards, we've got 2 different ones. We've got movement into balance, bringing yourself back into balance with yourself and the world around you. And we have slow but steady, which talks about making sure to keep your own pace, that it's okay that things are taking time, that things need time to grow. So I'll read those directly from the book in a moment, because I really enjoy the writing style of this book. But first, let's dive into your other cards here. For the Raider Waite Smith deck, we've got the, ooh, okay, 8 of Swords. That's funny. There was the 8 of Swords in pile number 1 as well, so you might want to look into that pile as well. Ooh, 3 of Swords. Okay, I see what's happening here. Intense. We've got the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. We've got the 5 of Swords. Okay. And we've got the 9 of Cups. Great. Wow, yeah, this is an intense reading so far. But don't worry, it'll be good. But I can see there's a lot you're going through. We've got the 2 of Pentacles here. This reading is what blessings are coming into your life. So, yeah. We've got the, all right, yeah. The 7 of Pentacles. We've got the Death card. Okay, this makes so much more sense now. Don't worry, the Death card isn't bad. It's actually really great. The Chariot. Okay, yeah. And the Hanged Man. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay, so whew, this is an intense pile. I do think that potentially you could check out pile number 1, because there are some things in it that might be applicable to your life. But you've got a little bit of something else going on. I think that you've got some very intense things that have happened in your life. and now you're kind of opening into something newer. You've got the you've got the Hanged Man and the Eight of Swords here, which kind of make me feel like you've been very stuck lately. In the recent past, you've been in a situation that has left you feeling very stuck. And I think that maybe you're a little confused as to why you've been stuck, or maybe you know very well. But I do see a lot happening here that's bringing you out of it, and you may have already been bringing yourself out of this situation. So you're either in this now, or you've recently come out of this. But you've got the Hanged Man, which talks about he's hung up and stuck. But the thing about it is, like in the traditional Rider Waite deck, he's got this halo around him. So he's done it on purpose. He's taken a step back from life. He's stopped doing a lot in order to really go within and have this sort of spiritual transformation. So it's being hung up, but it's coming from this place of needing to do it in order to gain more perspective. And then you have the Eight of Swords, which is all about feeling bound. You can see she's all bound up here with these swords behind her, and she's blindfolded, so she's really kind of stuck in the situation. But the thing about this card is it really indicates that she's very loosely bound, right? She's not bound very tightly, and that's kind of saying that she has all of the tools necessary, like she's got these swords around her, to really cut these bounds away and free herself. So this card, as much as it's being bound, it also indicates that freedom is possible and all around her. She just has to change her perspective. The swords are all about the mental body and the mental sphere. So it's sort of this idea that, by changing our perspective, by changing our thoughts and our mind, we're able to change our situation. We transform the whole world around us by transforming our perspective, which is literally the definition of the Death card. So you've got the Death card here, which is great. It's kind of indicating that there's something, you're coming out of this, right? So I'll get to the Death in a second, because I still think we're still on the it's like we've got before the change, and then what's coming after. And we've also got this Five of Swords here and the Three of Swords, which, these are brutal. These can feel really brutal, especially with the Three of Swords. So I think that you've been through some heartbreak. I think that you've been through some challenging situations with another person, and they've left you feeling really hurt and really raw, and really like, this deception card is here. So you might have felt like somebody's been deceiving you, or a lot of times the Five of Swords for me is self-deception. We can get stuck in fooling ourselves a lot with this card, and sort of like being stuck in these patterns and thought patterns that really get us stuck, and the Three of Swords is like, like I said, it's heartbreak, feeling emotionally distraught. So I think that you've been through a lot of really challenging and difficult things in your past that have left you feeling stuck. You've left you feeling in this stuck position. But the thing about it, so we've got the movement into balance. Let me read that right now. So because I think that you're moving out of that. I think that stuck period, has led you to, like I was saying, this more spiritual thing within, and you put a lot of work into changing this situation, because you have the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, which is all about this idea of putting in work, right? He's put in a lot of work for this abundance that's coming into his life, and a lot of times it talks about the mental sphere, but he's put in a ton of work, and that's going to pay off. Doing the work is the only way that things change. Is you also have the Seven of Pentacles, which talks a little bit about harvest, but it's a little bit about waiting, right? And so I'll get to that too with the slow but steady, but it's like this idea of you can't take the seed, the vegetables out of the ground, or sorry, if you're planting seeds, right, you can't dig up the seed in order to see if it's growing, because then you're just going to kill it. So you just got to have patience and wait that this work that you put in, this tremendous amount of work, is actually leading to something, and that you're freeing your heart. I really would recommend looking up some like energy healing stuff. Watch pile number one. I think fully. that you would benefit a lot from pile number one. And I get into that. I talk about meditation and talk about all that stuff. So watch pile number one for that. But yeah, I do think, you've been through some heartbreak, and it's time for you to clear some of that out. So yeah, let me read movement into balance. The sun balances the moon just as the earth, the water, and the sky remain in precious balance. So you are moving from an unbalanced ideas and lifestyle into a more balanced way of being. A situation may call for some tweaking to adjust it into a balanced mode. Look at the energy and the emotions you are putting out into the universe, your world, your relationships, or goals. Balance that with the energy you are allowing yourself to receive. The body inherently tries to maintain a state of balance. So do our souls. If you are not receiving enough, maybe you may be unconsciously giving more to restore a perceived balanced state. Step out of that automatic response and listen to your guides and your soul for what the situation truly warrants. Yeah, so I think that, this is talking a little bit too of like trying to break some patterns you've been in. Once again, watch pile number one. And really kind of come into a newer sense of perspective and understanding, and I think that you're doing that. I think that you're doing that work. I do think this Five of Swords is talking about self-deception in a lot of ways too. Like, where do you get stuck a lot, Like, where is it that you hold yourself back, whether on purpose or an accident, based on subconscious programming? How can you let go of those subconscious things and the situations around you and move yourself into a more balanced state? Don't be against you, right? The self-deception is all about this, like, pitting yourself against yourself, holding yourself back, putting yourself down, for all of these perceived understandings, based on the way you think things are supposed to be, based on that around you. Like, fuck all that. Pardon my French, but seriously, like, how do you need to be for you? Like, how do you need to be for you to be comfortable, to live day to day? And if the people around you and the situations around you and the world around you doesn't like that, like, tough, what do you need for you? Because the more that you fall into this idea of following yourself and your inner guidance, your inner light of what is it that I need for me and my life to be whole, when you start to do that, you might lose some people that you were with that you felt you needed to be around. That you've been changing yourself and your situations and your abilities in order to keep these people in your life. But in reality, maybe those people don't align with you, and that by following your heart and your inner self and your inner being, you will align yourself to the people who fit that, who jive with you, your soul family, quote unquote, if you want to listen to a lot of that kind of thing, which I like, but you don't have to call it that. You can call it whatever you want. Just people who fit you, the people around you will change if you change yourself. And that's kind of where this death card comes in. The death card, there are two major change cards in the tarot. There's the death and the tower. The tower is this kind of like cataclysmic outer experience. Everything around you shifts and changes because you need that in order to change, and it's kind of like this outer change experience. The death is different. The death is a transformation of your inner landscape. It's like you letting go and changing into a new being on the inside, and by doing that, the world around you begins to change because you change your situations. Watch pile number one. But that being said, by changing your perspective and changing your thoughts, and you're moving into a new way of being. So you're letting go of this Three of Swords, heartbreak energy, because you're coming into a better sense of you, right? And I think that that's going to come from, with the Hanged Man here. The Hanged Man can feel really alone sometimes, similar to the Hermit, but it's like you took the time out to slow everything down, or you've been put in a position in life where things aren't moving forward so quickly in order to change your perspective, and maybe that means you have to let go of some connections and some people that aren't serving you and aren't working for you, maybe you do have some kind of not so great people around in your life, and this period of of holding back, of setbacks, is actually here to show you that and show you like, hey, this isn't really lined up for you anymore. And I think you're ready to see that. And by doing that, by letting all that go, you're freeing yourself into this energy. You've got this hard-working energy. Like I said, the blessing that's coming in is abundance. So I think in order to find that abundance, though, you have to be totally and completely aligned with your inner sense of self, and then chase that and follow that. And that drive is really going to lead you to where you're going. And it's going to happen quite quickly. We've got the Chariot here, which can talk about balance, but it talks about swift motion too, and charging forward in life. So by allowing this major inner transformation to take place, and the death of the things that and into a new life, that new life is going to bring you a lot of prosperity, and it's going to happen very quickly. You've got the Nine of Cups here, which is ultimate satisfaction. So by doing so, you're going to be satisfied, and he's kind of alone here. He's kind of a loner, and sometimes that can indicate, some potential negative consequences, but of just being like, I've got all my stuff, and that's what I got. I don't necessarily see that for you. I think that that's actually a mindset you got to get out of a little bit and see that it's okay for you to chase and follow what's going to satisfy you. Because by doing that, by allowing yourself to really get in tune with who you are, you'll attract in new people who fit and align with that. And you're going to be satisfied. You'll be satisfied with yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the only one you have to live with. You don't have to live with anyone else, but you do have to live with you. And you do have to be happy with yourself. You can't deceive yourself or, put yourself down or all these things, torture yourself, maybe this Three of Swords energy is talking about heartbreak that you've set in on yourself. Maybe you have a really negative self-dialogue and self-talk, and that's really holding you back, and it's really time to let that go and, and move into balance. I was saying that. And you've got the Two of Pentacles here, which is talking about balance as well. This card is all about balancing and juggling the forces around you in order to be centered and secure. So I honestly think that by coming into a new sense of balance within yourself and a new balance within your exterior life, that's really going to help you bring in this abundance that's trying to come to you. And finally, we've got the Slow but Steady card. So let me read that real quick. Don't rush the situation. More often than not, divine timing and our timing are not the same. When you try to speed up a life experience, a relationship, or even a project, you circumvent necessary experiences or lessons along the way that will contribute to a perfect outcome. Know that whether you are in this situation, it's the perfect place for you to be. Wherever you are in this situation, it is the perfect place to be. If this place is causing you anxiety, perfect. Now you can look within and ask yourself why. What are your fears surrounding this perceived delay in getting to where you want to go? What is the worst that can happen? What is the best that can happen? What if we remove the words best and worst and just let things unfold at their own pace without attaching judgment? So there you go, right? That's kind of what I was saying. I think that you're in this hanged man period and things are moving slowly right now because they need to really learn the patience to just sit with it. And then by doing so, you'll start to come in, and the blessing that's coming into your life is a radical transformation in the way that you operate. So by allowing yourself to really process a lot of these things that have happened to you and to let them go, and you'll be able to move on and into a new situation. But it has to come from this new perspective. It has to come from letting go of the old and following your inner light and your inner guidance. Because that's going to really help you bring you into the world you need to be in. And it's going to happen swiftly once you allow this to happen. But have the patience to slow down now. Because by doing so, you allow that transformation to take place so that things can move quickly once you've changed. But you have to go through that change first. Yeah, okay, that's your reading. I hope that it resonates. Let me know in the comments either way. Feel free to go to my website, junodrum.com. I have private readings available, 2 different options. We can do a one-on-one through Zoom, or I can do a pre-recorded video. A little bit less time on that one, a little bit less expensive, but incredibly informative as well. I've had people really enjoy both processes, so let me know what you think. Either way, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, that was your reading. See you later. Hi there, pile number 3. This is your reading if you chose this really pretty amethyst. I don't know if you can see it shining, but it's really nice. Amethyst is all about, you know, the psychic realms, third eyes, upper chakras, like very mind expansion. So maybe you got some of that going on here. This is your reading for what good things are coming your way right now. So for your runes, we've got the manas, which talks about the self. It also can indicate like humanity, or it literally translates to man, to being, but it's like your being, your inner self, and kind of like sometimes the illumination of the self. And then we've got Jera, which is the harvest rune. To me, this always reminds me of kind of a yin and yang symbol. It's got that same kind of connotations. It's like, it's the entirety of a cycle, right? The harvest cycle. So it's like, it's both the planting and the harvest at the end. It's kind of these balances of opposite forces. It's like, in order to get the summer, you need the winter. In order for the harvest, you need the spring. It's kind of this cyclical stuff going on. For your Shamanic Healing Oracle cards, we've got Self-Love, which is so nice, and we've got Transformation, becoming something new, and loving yourself. That's great. So I'll read from the book for those two when they become applicable in the reading, because I really like the writing in it, but we'll get to that in a bit. For the traditional Raider Waite Smith deck, we've got the King of Pentacles. Ooh, the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I like the reading already. Ooh, yeah. Oh, the High Priestess. Talk about that amethyst energy. Woohoo! Some psychics in this room. Hangman. Okay. Ooh, okay. 5 of Cups. Not to worry. But it makes sense. And the Fool. Okay. Alright. For the hand-drawn deck, I drew this myself. We've got, oh, fuck yeah. Wheel of Fortune. Oh, yes. I love you guys. Oh, this is great. This is a really great reading. You guys, what good things are coming into your life? I mean, just life in general. Everything. Queen of Wands. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Fool again. Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome. 2 of Cups. Okay. Talk about that self-balancing. And the 6 of Cups. All right. Let's dive in. Yeah, you guys, I think that you are blossoming. You know, what good things are coming in your life? You are the good thing coming into your life. You coming home, coming into yourself, awakening into this beautiful being that you are. You're so beautiful, you know? Like, just like your heart, you know, it's there. Self-love. That's what's coming in, you know. You have come into a period where you're finally able to love yourself fully, and that by embracing that, this is something that I've been learning. Self-love is literally the foundation for anything. anything that you want, your hopes and your dreams, in order to make those happen in your life, to manifest your own hopes and dreams, you have to build a foundation of self-love. It's the only way that it works, because if you're anything like me, and I think a lot of times it's very rare to leave childhood without some kind of thing holding us back, some kind of complex or system or something. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter who your parents were, it doesn't matter anything, there's always going to be something there hindering you for whatever reason, because it's tough. It's tough to be a child, it's tough to go through the transformation that is puberty, it's tough to, our world is a tough, harsh place sometimes, and I think that you know that just as much as I do. But by building this foundation of self-love, to fall back onto, you've got this like pillow and this cushion of, that you just like go home at the end of the day and just like, okay, all that other stuff, let it go. I've got me. I know I'm good. I love me. I love me. Like, and by doing that, everything is possible to you. Literally everything. So I think that that's what's happening for you. I'll get into the cards here in a minute. Let's start in just on the things that are hindering you right now. Maybe these are energies that you've come out of, that you're coming out of right now. Because we got the manas. This is all about the self. So this is about you and yourself, and coming into a new way of being in your own body, in your own life, letting go of all of the drama and all of the chaos and all of the stuff. The stuff is there. Just let that go and come back into you. And here we are. Like, this is so amazing. It's just literally what I've been working on right now for me, and what's been transforming my own life. So in a way, I think this reading is for me too. But by doing that, I get to share this all with you, which is great. I love it, because it's just like so wonderful. So wonderful. So yeah, I think that you've experienced some difficult emotional states in your past. I think you've been through some hard times even. You've got the Five of Cups here, which signifies loss, right? He's looking at these cups that have fallen over, and he's mourning them. He's mourning the loss of the things that haven't gone right in his life. But if you look behind him, he's still got 2 cups left over. So he hasn't lost everything. He's still got stuff in his life. And this card talks a lot, especially this traditional one, of like, tough stuff happens in life, and it's awful. It's not, there's no sugarcoating it. It's not cool. It's not good. But we have the power to still be grateful for the things we have in life, that we still have. And by changing our perspective from the things that we've lost to the things that we have and that we cherish, we allow ourselves to grow a life that furthers the things that we cherish and not furthers the things that we lose. In my own hand-drawn deck, which you didn't draw that one, but I'll talk about it anyway, I only have 1 cup remaining after 4 being lost. And to me, because this card also kind of talks about that now you have actually a better clarity, since you've lost those things, you actually have a better clarity of what matters to you, of what you need in life, of what you want, of what makes you tick, of the things in life that are yours, that you need for you, And I think that you're actually opening yourself up to that perspective now, because I think that this is the transformation you've been going through. And it's cycles too, right? Jera talks about harvest, so you're harvesting this beautiful thing, but it also talks about a whole year's cycle, right? So I think this is a period you've been in for a long time, and now you're starting to harvest these things because you've been putting in so much work. You've been putting in so much work, and now life is moving in your favor. You've got the Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes it can talk about what comes up must come down kind of a deal, but I've almost never gotten it for that definition. For me, every time it comes up, it's a blessing. It's fortune, Wheel of Fortune. You're like, there's, in my opinion, every single rung on this Wheel of Fortune is fortunate. Like, you're gonna get something out of it no matter what. That's how I interpret this card. And I think that for you, fortune is coming in to your life. and it's coming in the form of abundance and happiness and power. You've got the Queen of Swords. Oh my God. And she's like the power manifester. She makes things happen. She is like because she's a woman, you know, and I don't mean to, I'm a non-binary person. I don't really subscribe to gender roles specifically, but we've got the archetypal masculine and archetypal feminine, and those are actual things, I think, you know, that are deeper than male and female. They are archetypes, and it doesn't matter your gender. We all embody these different archetypes. We all have femininity and masculinity as present in our spiritual beings. And it's our society that has quashed this and been so dogmatic about it. But, you know, F that. You know? So, you know, embrace your inner queen here with the Queen of Wands. You know, because she's very similar to the High Priestess, which you also have here, which is incredible. I'll get to her. You know, she brings things into her life and is able to transform them and happen, because she's also kind of the High Priestess as well. So she's got that High Priestess energy to her, in the sense that she is able to manifest by connecting to her intuition and her inner realms and bring those out into the world around her. So, you know, you've unlocked by this, yeah, so you had this loss, and it left you kind of stuck, right? I think you've been in a stuck period for a while. But the thing about this with the Hanged Man, you see this glowing halo around his face or his head there? That's talking about how the stuck period actually brings in a spiritual transformation. And it's now, you know, by being stuck and hung back a little bit, you've opened up your connection to your inner guidance, your intuition. You've got the High Priestess here, who's this like incredible, awe-inspiring, beautiful expansion of knowledge, right? She's just so incredible. We all have an inner High Priestess, and she's just able to make things happen. You know, like by she's just like so in tune with the spiritual realms, with her own inner being, her own inner knowing. You don't necessarily have to be spiritual, but I think for this pile, I think that you probably are. You know, maybe you have some latent psychic abilities, psychic talents. You don't have to believe in that stuff. I do. I have my own experience with that. For that kind of thing, you know, this like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairknowing, it's all kind of stuff that's like tuning into the subconscious. And you know, I'll talk into my own personal philosophy here. I think that we're all connected. You know, we're all interconnected beings, and I think that in this mental sphere is so similar. You know, how you can there's like inner space, right? Inner space and outer space. How outer space just keeps going, and it's like this incredible, expansive whoa. I think our inner space is the same. And I think that like the deeper and deeper you go, you start to go into these realms and these thoughts and these beings and this place of understanding that is actually not just you, right? I think it's everyone and everything and the interconnected of all things. I don't need to get too far into that stuff. Like, I don't know if you necessarily want me to, but like, yeah, you have a connection to that, you know, and you're finding that. You're finding your connection to this like spiritual inner space, and it's just like expanding you all around, and it's so beautiful. And it's you've now entered into a new period. Right? You've got the Fool twice. The Fool is the very first card in the whole tarot deck. It doesn't even have a number. It's number 0 because it's brand new. It's like journey starting. And the thing about him, you know, he's kind of like carefree about that. You see in this one, he's about to walk off a cliff, which doesn't mean like he's just not paying attention to the dire things that are happening. Like, it's kind of that idea of like the spiritual awakening happens by walking off the cliff, you know, by you allow yourself to let go and to have trust and to have faith. And it's like, okay, you know, I have to do this now because everything else hasn't worked. There's nothing else left. The only thing that's left is for me to let go of my fear and just take the plunge off the cliff, you know? And you've done it. You're doing it. You've done it. You're waking up, you know, you're waking up to you, to the larger you, to the bigger, better, not better, I don't want to be, but just, you know, beyond the day-to-day mess that we are kind of surrounded by, that the world tells us is all that is, to the larger, more beautiful, open, spiritual being that you really are. And that's coming from you uniting with yourself. You've got the Two of Cups here, which can indicate two different things, right? Sometimes it can talk about coming together with another person and balancing the opposite forces outside of yourself, but I think that era is done in humanity, actually. I really do. I don't think that this idea that we are two incomplete beings that need another person in order to become one whole being, I think is patently false, and is only continuing suffering. You are a complete being yourself. You don't need anyone else in order to be a complete human being. You just need you, and you need to connect to you. And by doing that, then you can find, if you're looking for love and romance, which I don't want to knock, if you become complete inside of yourself first and you find another complete person, then you're not going to be stuck in these cycles of codependence that we're all so stuck in, of needing something from another person and being stuck in this like really screwed up power dynamic with another person, and really be solid in yourself. And then you'll be in like a more open and loving connection that I think is more connected to the spiritual realms, where you're as individuals. And that's this thing, that's the other meaning of this, is becoming connected with yourself. You've got the Caduceus on here, which is this, these intertwining snakes coming up into their own, internal being. And that's kind of like what you're doing, right? You're connecting to the deeper you. And you're having a spiritual awakening. I think this is the most clearly indicative pile I've ever come across of a spiritual awakening, but I think that that's what's happening to you, and you might not be explaining it that way. You might not be perceiving it that way. You might not use the language, and you don't need to, but I think it's happening to you, and you're just like really coming into yourself, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. You're letting go of this loss and moving into a new energy that's really allowing you to find ultimate abundance. You have the 10 of Pentacles here, which is ultimate abundance. Coming into that, by tuning into your inner self, you're following your dreams and your hopes of what you need for you, and by following that, you're going to align yourself with so much abundance, whether that's actual money and material goods, or whether that's whatever, the physical world around you. Your world is going to be happier and more joyful and more pleasant and more balanced and happy and abundant. It might come from, the thing is, like, we happen to live in a world right now where in order to have that stability and that happiness, you don't need to be totally obsessed with material things, but having money really helps. And it's so unfortunate, I think. I tend to think that we need a better safety net system for people. I think that, I totally firmly believe in people being taxed in order to have safety. I think that housing even should be a right, food should be a right. I do feel those things. But we don't exactly live in that world right now. And in that I also believe that it's okay to want money. I think it's okay to it's kind of we get locked in this, I think, idea of spirituality where we have to let go of those things. We have to admonish the material world, and I don't believe that. I really don't. I don't think, I think that gaining wealth can mean being freer to relax for a lot of people, and that's important. And I don't think you need to be wealthy in order to relax at all. I think that you can totally achieve that without it. But I think that by uniting with your inner being, you're going to align yourself with the ability to gain abundance, even material abundance, and that is going to bring a lot of happiness and peace into your life, because you're going to figure out how to do it. Because you've got the King of Pentacles here, who's the master manifester. So at the end of the day, you've got a lot of money coming into you, but I think it's going to come from you following your dreams, and that's okay. It's okay to follow your dreams and to pursue financial gain, as long as you're not like coming to it from a place of detriment, right? I think that we also, this self-love thing is kind of coming to the idea too that we're all interconnected, and like you can totally gain money and wealth and do it in a way that isn't hurting anybody, and I think that from this, especially if you're a deeply spiritual person, I think that that's something that you'll have those values, and you'll figure out how to do it. It's totally available to you. Yeah, so let me read Self-Love and Transformation from the book here. But I feel pretty happy about this card. Oh, the final card I didn't talk about was the Six of Cups, which could talk about happy memories from the past. So potentially some happy things. I think that's a thing that's going to help you with your perspective too, is like you've been through some really challenging and difficult things from your past, but remember that you also went through some happy things in your past. We all have happy things from our past available, and that by focusing on those, you start to open yourself up to more happiness by being grateful for the wonderful things that have happened in your life. Not to negate the challenges that you've had, but the challenges have given you lessons to change and to grow. But that doesn't mean you never had happiness either. So find the happy things too. That'll help with your self-love. So let's read self-love. We always try to think so highly of the ones we love. We even give strangers the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to self-love, many of us fall woefully short. To love oneself is to accept imperfection. It's okay to be an imperfect being. Accept yourself. Love yourself anyway. It's okay. We're all imperfect. Embrace learning and battle through the all-consuming fires of self-doubt in order to find the energetic balance inside each of us. I think this is something you're working on. I think it's something you're doing whether I tell you about it or not, but keep doing it. Keep finding more techniques for self-love, because it's really, really going to help you transform into this new phase. Be aware of the small, insidious voice that perhaps repeats the negative self-assessment you had as a child. Maybe an ex-lover or friend put a label on you that you've accepted. These judgments have no place in a whole, healthy relationship that is vital to have with yourself. It's only when you find your love for yourself that you can sincerely offer love to others. So there you go. I think that's beautiful. I think that that's what's coming to you. I really do. I really, 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 really do. Transformation. See, you're going through this major transformation, and you're just about to blossom into this beautiful butterfly. You might be going through that right now, and it's incredible, and I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I don't even know who I'm talking to right now, but based on this cards and your energy, I know you've overcome so much, and I am proud of you. Look in a mirror and tell yourself, I am proud of you. Point it out. I'm so proud of you, friend. I do that to myself. I record really silly videos on my phone all the time. All the time. Where, especially when I'm feeling bad, because, you're still going to feel bad every now and then. It happens. You've got these, I have one reader talk about it being like these echoes from these former modes of being. You still have the echo coming in every now and then. That's okay. Record a video for yourself and tell yourself all of the things you love about you, Like, give yourself self-love. It's so important. It's so important. And building that foundation, like I said, a self-love literally creates the ability to manifest your dreams. But you have to come from a place of believing in you and letting go of those self-doubts. Transformation. After the rain comes the sun. After the caterpillar comes the butterfly. The situation you were inquiring about is somehow acting as a catalyst for a major transformation. Yeah, this hanged man period is a catalyst for this whole new beginning. If you find yourself questioning or having regrets, don't. Try not to second guess yourself or beat yourself up. Nothing happens that is not supposed to. Many of your issues and situations are not anything to be upset about. They are a path to wholeness. You are the one who infuses drama and chaos into the situation. You are always given the opportunity to grow and learn. Growth and learning very rarely come about when everything stays the status quo just as you think they should. Be thankful you have this wonderful opportunity to transform and heal to a better and higher rate of vibration. So there you go. I think you're doing that. I think you're doing that. It's good for you. I am so proud of you. So proud. That's my reading for you. I really hope that it resonates. Let me know either way in the comments, and shoot me shoot me a message if you want. If you want a private reading with me, I would love, 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 love to give you one. Go to my website, junodrome.com. I've got all of that available. Subscribe to the channel. I'm giving some discounts for YouTube subscribers, so hit me up if you want to do that. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. This was such a great reading. I feel so inspired now, and so invigorated, so thank you, honestly, for sharing your energy with me. You're wonderful. You're so wonderful. Believe it. Please believe it. Please. Because everything is opening up to you now. Everything. It's so great. Bye!